Hi guys, I am doing a video on something that I feel like a lot of you guys are still having a little trouble with. So it is multiplying fractions with mixed numbers, okay? So I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like here. So here's a fraction, 1/4, and here's a mixed number, which is 3½ okay? So again, I'm going to emphasize if you are not sure what a mixed number is, or if you're not sure how to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, I'll ask you to stop the video now and go check out the videos on that, because otherwise, as we go on, you'll get a little bit confused, okay? So what we're doing here is we're asking ourselves, what is 1/4 times 3½ Or another way to think about it is, what is 3½ groups of 1/4? What does that look like? 3½ groups of 1/4. Well, gosh, that's hard to even visualize what that looks like. So I'm going to show you I'm actually going to show you two strategies that you can use that will give you the answer to that. So the first strategy is called, you'll do the whole first and then you'll do the fraction. You'll multiply the whole number with the fraction, and then you'll multiply the fraction. Now what I mean by that is you'll multiply this whole number with this fraction, and then you'll finish up by taking care of the fraction part of the mixed number and multiply with the 1/4. So let me go over how to do that. Okay, so first of all, we'll take our whole number from up here, just the 3, and we're going to go ahead and multiply that by our 1/4. Okay, so we multiply 3 times 1/4. And as you can see, we have set it up. We've done our 3 times 1 on the numerator line. And then down there, our denominator doesn't change. It's still 4. We're not changing or working with that. And that becomes 3/4. See, we just multiplied 3 times 1 and we got our 3, and 4 stays the same. So 3 times 1/4 is equal to 3/4. Another way to think about that is, what would happen if you had 3 groups of 1/4? Well, you'd have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. The answer is 3/4. Okay, so we've taken care of the whole number part of that. Now we're going to deal with our fractions, okay? So just the 1/4 and just the 1/2. We'll do this. We did this one first. We're doing this one last. We're going to add them together at the end, okay? It'll work, I promise you. Okay, so now we take our 1/2 from here. We're going to multiply it times the 1/4, which is here, which we did that in our last one. So we have 1/2 times 1/4, okay? So we set it up like this. On our numerator line, we have 1 times 1. See there? And on our denominator line, we have the 2 times 4. And we got that 2 here. We got the 4 here. 2 times 4. Our fraction becomes 1/8 because 1 times 1 is 1 in our numerator line. 2 times 4 is 8. Our fraction becomes 1/8, okay? So now what we got to do is we take our first fraction we got, we take our last fraction we got, and we add them together. 3/4 plus 1/8. Well, oh my gosh, wait a minute, Mr. Carpenter, look. They have different denominators. They're hard to add together. Oh, well, that's where LCM, least common multiple, comes in. So down here, you can see I've listed all the multiples of fourths. We have 4, 8, 12. I'm sorry, not all the multiples, some multiples of 4, 4, 8, and 12. And I did the same thing for 8s, 8, 16, and I stopped right there because I noticed right away that the least common multiple for both of them is 8. Okay, I didn't have to go very far. I just need to multiply my fourths times 2 in order to get 8s. So that's what I did down here. I took my 3/4, I multiplied it by 2. The denominator 4 times 2 will give me my 8s. And remember, whatever we do to our denominator, we do to our numerator. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Our equivalent fraction to 3/4 is 6/8. Okay, so now instead of having 3/4 plus 1/8, we now have 6/8 plus 1/8. Much easier to deal with because we're dealing with 8s. Our answer is 7/8. Oh my gosh, what did you notice about that? Took forever, right? There's actually an easier way to do it. And again, I'll encourage you, if you are still unsure or need a little bit more practice on how to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, I'll have you pause the video here and go check out one of my other videos, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that mixed number and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna convert it to a improper fraction. This will allow us to much more easily multiply our two fractions. All right, so here we go. I take my 3 halves here, and the 3 from here is going to become 6 halves, okay? So now instead of 3, I have 6 halves. That's equivalent to 3. And we know because if we divide 6 by 2, it's 3. It's the same thing. It's just written as a fraction. 6 halves is 3, okay? And our 1/2 portion of here, we're just going to add the 6 halves plus the 1/2 portion. We're going to get, this is going to be the same exact thing. 6 halves of 3 plus 1/2, which came from here, is equal to 7 halves. 6 halves plus 1/2 is equal to 7 halves, okay? So our mixed number, 3 halves, is the exact same thing as 7 halves. Now what we're going to do is, instead of having to multiply 3 halves times 1/4, now we're going to use our equivalent fraction, our improper fraction, 7 halves times 1/4, okay? So now our new problem becomes 7 halves times 1/4. We set up our numerator line, 7 times 1. Right here, you can see 7 times 1. We set up our denominator line, which is 2 times 4. You can see the 2 came from here, the 4 came from here, 2 times 4. We multiply our numerator line, we get 7. 7 times 1 is 7. We multiply our denominator line, 2 times 4 is 8. Our fraction is 7/8, okay? So this strategy I find the simplest when multiplying a mixed number with a fraction. And it also works if you have 2 mixed numbers as well, okay? All right, so hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll give you some practice problems to work on in class. But until next time, toodaloo.